Hey everyone, it's Bray from soichinchat.com and today we are going to take a look at the latest 8th Gen iPad. Could this be the best iPad option to purchase for the money? Well, let's find out on today's video. The basic iPad has always been the good enough child out of all the iPads. It is not as powerful as the iPad Air, nor it has the features of the iPad Pro. But to have these features, you have to pay a huge sum of money, and Apple knows that not everyone could afford it, and that is where the basic iPad comes in. I know this might not be the most interesting iPad right now, but it is the most affordable. And that actually makes it the most interesting for people who just want a tablet. It has a starting price of 1,449 ringgit for the 32GB variant, and you can bump it up to 128GB of storage for 400 ringgit. Get the 128GB version, don't even bother getting the 32GB one. So not a lot has actually changed, but let's get into it one by one, and we will start off with the design. So the 8th Gen iPad still comes with a familiar 10.2-inch display, which is the same as the 7th Gen iPad. So if you're hoping for a faster 90Hz or 120Hz display, well, unfortunately you won't be getting it. But I'm not complaining. Drawing on the iPad has always been fun, and I also love watching videos on the iPad. For my needs, I'm happy with it. The buttons are also in all the same places. It has the same old lightning connector at the bottom, Touch ID, the power button, the headphone jack, the volume rocker, and since the one I have is the Wi-Fi plus cellular model, there's also a slot for you to put in your SIM card. But there is one upgrade. You now get a 20W USB-C charger and a USB-C to Lightning out of the box, so that's a good thing. But I realized that even with a 20W charger, I only got the iPad to around 20% after a 30 minutes charge. When I checked the wattage with our wattage meter, I found out that the iPad doesn't really charge at 20 watts. But I don't mind that at all because the battery life of the 8th Gen iPad is good. It can easily last me 10 hours on a single charge, which is pretty impressive considering the multitasking and the amount of Netflix I watch. Besides that, there is also an 8MP rear camera that sits flush with the aluminium body of the tablet. Unlike the new iPad Air 2020, the 8th Gen iPad still gets the same brushed metal and rounded edges. At the front, there's also a rather disappointing 1.2MP FaceTime HD camera, so don't even try to take selfies with the camera because it will turn out really bad. But if you're using for video calls, it's good enough. The biggest difference is of course the processor. It has gone from an A10 Fusion processor to the A12 Bionic processor, which is the same processor that's running on the iPhone XR, the XS, and also the XS Max. But to be very honest with you, I don't see any significant differences in terms of its performance. While I'm writing the script for this review, I have my Google Docs app open and I'm constantly multitasking with other apps like Chrome and YouTube. Most of the time, I have two apps running in split screen. The good news is that the 8th Gen iPad seems to have no problem keeping up with my multitasking and constant app switching, so that's good. In terms of its speakers, I think they're okay. Both speakers are placed at the bottom, so they are easily muffled with the way I hold it. And when it's in landscape mode, it is also likely that you will cover up the speakers. But if you place it on the stand or a keyboard, the speakers are honestly not that bad. The 8th Gen iPad supports the first generation Apple Pencil, which is great for most part, but it can get a little awkward. First things first, there's no proper place for you to store or charge your Apple Pencil. Unlike the 2nd Gen Apple Pencil, you cannot magnetically attach to the tablet's chassis. You still have to charge the pencil by plugging into the Lightning port, which is super ridiculous. The good news is that the Apple Pencil performs flawlessly, especially for a tablet this affordable. I enjoy the overall responsiveness and precision of the pencil. And if you're willing to spend another 649 ringgit, you can also get the Smart Keyboard. It is not in the same league as the Apple Magic Keyboard on the iPad Air and the iPad Pros, but once you got used to it, it's actually quite nice to type on. And speaking of the pencil, the biggest and also my favorite feature in iPad OS 14 is the expansion of Apple Pencil support. The Scribble feature lets you write in any text field on the iPad with the Apple Pencil, and the handwriting will turn into text. It works on Safari searches, in Search, in the Reminders app, in Messages, and essentially anywhere you can write text. Writing mistakes can be scratched out to erase them, and drawing a circle around a word selects it. I find this super useful because if you're switching tabs between your Artboard and let's just say your Google Chrome, you don't have to switch over to a keyboard if you need to get something done. Besides Scribble, iPad OS 14 also adds sidebars to a couple of apps, and that includes music, files, photos, and shortcuts. This may seem like a minor upgrade, but I think overall it makes the iPad a little more Mac-like. It is also easier to find the things that you want because the page is so organized now. And I know most of you guys are already familiar with split view on iPad, where you can view and work with 2 or 3 different apps at the same time. There's also one of my favorite features called Universal Clipboard, where you can easily copy and paste text, images, and other items between devices in the Apple ecosystem. You just have to make sure that you are signed in to the same Apple account. The goal of this iPad is simple, which is to give users the essential experience and features of an iPad for an affordable price, and they definitely nailed it. For the price that you are paying, not only you are able to get a decent performance tablet, you also get to enjoy all these nifty little features on iPad OS 14 like Scribble or even Universal Clipboard. It is really a great device to just work on basic tasks or even watch videos with it, and that is why it is so easy to recommend to those who are on a budget but want a good tablet. It's an iPad and it does basically everything you want on an iPad to do without breaking the bank, and that makes it great. So that's it for my review of the 8th Gen iPad. So what do you think of this new tablet? Do let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and also click on the notification bell icon so you can stay updated to our future videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!